Trump breaking news. Mike Gill, who is he? Trump admin official shot in deadly carjacking. A carjacking in Washington, D.C., left another victim dead and wounded, a former official of Donald Trump. While Trump was president, Mike Gill served as COO of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC. The shooting event on January 29 was confirmed by Gill's family, and according to Fox 5, he remains in critical condition in the hospital. Fox 5 stated that a suspected suspect shot Gill before fleeing the scene. According to additional reports from the outlet, the event occurred near Mount Vernon Square. According to the Washington Post, the victim was fatally shot during a third suspected carjacking in Maryland on January 30. The culprit had previously attempted for such heists. Police later shot and killed the suspect. Newsweek has reached out to the MPD for comment and confirmation about the reports. Mike Gill, who is he? From October 2016 until November 2019, Gill was the chief of staff to former CFTC Chairman J. Christopher Giancarlo, meaning he was in the Obama and Trump administrations, based on his LinkedIn profile. Gill went on to become senior vice president at Common Securitization Solutions after leaving the CFTC. He remained there until November 2021, when he accepted a position with the Housing Policy Council. Gill was described by his family as an amazing husband, father, friend, and colleague with a wonderful sense of humor. This description was given in a statement that Gill's relatives gave to Fox 5. Has a knack of making friends with everyone he meets, and he's constantly on the lookout for methods to unite people and make them feel welcome and appreciated. It is clear from the overwhelming amount of love and support shown to his family during this challenging time that his generosity and compassion have impacted the lives of many, the statement stated. On Tuesday, Glenn Kirshner, a former U.S. Army prosecutor, drew attention to a specific instance in E. Jean Carroll's second trial against Trump, during which the jury sure did see the president for who he really is. Trump was ordered by a jury last week to pay $83.3 million to Carroll for defamation, following Carroll's allegations that he raped her in a New York department shop in the 1990s. Another jury found Trump guilty of sexual abuse and defamation. Last year, she was forced to pay $5 million to Trump. Do you think it's a coincidence that E. Jean Carroll receives $5 million when Donald Trump opts not to appear in court and the jury doesn't see him in person, and $83.3 million when he does? On MSNBC, Kirshner inquired. Kirshner went on to say that Trump's tantrum during closing arguments was the pivotal moment that may have cost him dearly. As they were saying to the jury that Donald Trump seems to believe the rules don't apply to him. What does he do when we consider that every court in the country, if not every jurisdiction, has laws against disturbing the proceedings? Flies out of the court in a flurry. Which task are you completing? Obstructing the proceedings, he remarked. When an opponent acts like that, it's a litigator's dream, Kirshner chimed in. I would have most likely expressed my desire to have Mr. Trump brought back into the courtroom and placed an exhibit sticker on his head, as he exemplifies the very point we were trying to make, she said. In a defamation case that took place in New York, a federal jury found in favor of writer E. Jean Carroll, awarding a sum of $83 million in damages to the former president. Legal professionals, however, believe that he might not be liable for the full amount. Carroll, an advice writer, was found guilty by a jury on January 26 for reputational harm caused by Trump's claim that she had made up her sexual assault accusations against him. Jurors agreed, and they handed her an $18 million credibility award plus $65 million in punitive damages. Trump, who has promised to challenge the decision, can choose to pay the whole sum to the court, which will then keep the money while he appeals, as reported by the New York Times. Additionally, he might be eligible for a bond that would require an initial payment equal to a percentage of the total. According to legal experts who spoke with McClatchy News, it is possible that Trump's damages could be reduced through the appeals process. However, it is unlikely that a significant decrease will occur. A review of the matter. According to Don Herzog, a professor at the University of Michigan Law School, who spoke with McClatchy News, an appeals court has the authority to mandate a new trial solely for the purpose of obtaining a refreshed jury verdict about damages in the event that the judgment is deemed unfair. The court must be persuaded that no rational jury could have rendered the verdict they did, and the jury deserves some respect, according to Herzog. To rephrase, the judge is free to consider alternative awards and say, honestly, I would have gone with something different, but I can't say your figure is unreasonable. According to John Goldberg, a professor at Harvard Law School, who spoke with McClatchy News, if Trump were to face such a trial, his legal team would most likely focus on the $65 million in punitive damages. For starters, Mr. Trump's appellate lawyers almost certainly will argue, first, that his misconduct wasn't egregious enough to allow for any punitive damages, Goldberg claimed. According to Goldberg, this is a very remote possibility. In the event that it fails, Trump's attorneys will most likely argue that the jury's verdict is excessive. Essentially, the appellate court will have to determine if $65 million is so disproportionate to the seriousness of Mr. Trump's misconduct that it suggests the jury was motivated by bias or emotion. Goldberg stated, the decision courts rarely meddle with jury verdicts, according to Herzog. According to the national narrative, that's rare. According to Goldberg, who shared this opinion, the odds of a significant reduction on appeal are probably not in Mr. Trump's favor, even though the likelihood of an appeals court reducing the punitive award is higher than the likelihood of it being thrown out completely. This implies that Trump will probably still owe Carroll a substantial amount when the lengthy appeals process is over. On this point, however, not all attorneys agreed. In an interview with McClatchy News, Yale Law School, Professor Robert Post said that penalties, especially punitive damages, are frequently reduced by appeals courts. It happens a lot, but it doesn't always happen, Post added. It can take over a year for an opinion to be reached by the appeals court, so its decision might not be forthcoming for quite some time.